Let me say. Nope. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So this video, we're going to talk about how to effectively communicate when there's a disagreement. When you guys are at each other's throats. Everybody ain't going to be at each other's throats, but how to effectively communicate during a tough time.
Right. And it could even be just a mental place. You can just shut down, not say anything, and you just be in that stuck mode, like, I don't care, I don't want to hear it, I'm done with it.
This is why this is important to me, is because during the first couple of years that we got married, after that honeymoon stage, when the honeymoon was all over, you go through a phase where you try to understand each other, and when there's a disagreement, we resorted to just yelling and arguing with each other, and the more and more that happened, the more and more I disconnected. Right? And so I should have stayed engaged during those times, but we've learned how to effectively communicate with each other.
But you learned how to stay engaged, and I learned how to shut my mouth. I would tell you to, be home, but then I would just attack you or yell at you or say something negative.
Right.
So,
and it's not when you argue, it's not a point of right and wrong.
Right.
It's a point of how can I communicate when I feel like I'm right, or how can I communicate and be on good terms without it blowing up into a level 10.
Right. And not about being wrong or right. It's just being able to sit down at the table and talk about it,
Right.
And give up your right to be right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Because especially when you're dealing with somebody with a strong personality, and you're both like, you know what, I gotta be heard. I gotta, I'm not willing to let this one go.
Right.
That can be tough, and what it does is it strains the relationship.
Right.
And that's what happened with me and you.
Right.
So let's get into this. Number one, how to effectively communicate during a disagreement.
And number one would say focus on solutions, not.
We gotta remember this stuff, so we write it down just so we stay on track. So if we're looking at a sheet of paper, yes, we have a sheet of paper and we're looking at it.
Because I'll have them all over the place.
Okay.
All right. So I was saying number one is focus on solutions, not challenges.
Right.
Don't go in a situation just being like, oh, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you don't listen, you don't this and that. Instead of coming there, okay, so we have a challenge. One challenge in our relationship, I feel like you don't listen to me. So my solution is to maybe write it down so I'm being heard without seeming like I'm attacking him.
Yeah.
So when you have a challenge in the marriage, instead of keep coming to your spouse with a challenge, come with the challenge and a solution.
Right.
For each other.
And it's easy to point out the flaws, like you're not doing this, you're not doing that. It's easy to just keep beating on that piece of it. But it's harder, and it takes more effort to figure out, okay, I know this is an area of weakness. What can I do to solve it? Right? Be a problem solver. You're either carrying gasoline or you're carrying water, and you're gonna make this fire blow up, or you're gonna put the fire out. So you gotta decide which one you're gonna do.
Right.
Number two
is respecting each other. I would say, that was probably more of my challenge with him. Just because I didn't know. First of all, in a marriage, understand what respect look like to your spouse. Because I was.
This is important because when you're in a disagreement, you can cut and slice, but just because you can stab your spouse doesn't mean you have to. Like, just because you can slice them up don't mean you have to.
Right.
There should be a certain level of respect that I'm not going to demean you. I'm not going to belittle you.
Right.
I know the words that I can say to hurt you. I know exactly what to say to hurt you. But why do that? I'm going to respect who you are as a person. I'm not going to tear you down. I'm going to build you up. So in a disagreement, have a ground line or a.
Right, that's why I was saying talk to each other, because your respect look different from my respect. Because there's times I didn't even know I was disrespecting you. There's times, of course, I knew I was.
Yeah.
So with the ground line that you're saying, I think it's important to sit down with each other, and see what that looks like.
Number 3, and this is the hardest thing because usually when disagreements happen, it's a right now thing. But it's important to know what the goal that you're trying to get to is. So a lot of times when you're arguing in different things, if you actually stop and think about what are we really trying to solve here, where are we really trying to get to, what are we really disagreeing on, if you really stop to think about that, a lot of times, I would say a large percentage of your arguments would just go away. Because if I'm trying to get here and you're trying to get there, when we talk about it, let's just spend more energy talking to each other about how to get there. And if you can't do that, then we're going to go to number 4, which is allow time and space to cool down. Right?
And know that that's okay, you know. And for women, you know, if your spouse needs to leave for a minute, just let them go. Let them go. They'll be back sometime.
Or let her go.
Or let her go. You know, sometimes we just need a minute to cool down. You know, that's all. And
so this is escalating. So if try to come to a 3, we said come to a goal. 4 is find time to cool down. But if stuff is still boiling over, this is something that me and SeMonne had to do, is find an intermediary, just some middle person that you respect, that both of you respect. It could be your pastor, it could be a minister in your church, it could be a professional counselor that both of you can go to, and they're not going to take sides, right? They're not going to take sides, but they're going to come together and try to find a common ground. Sometimes you need that third party just to talk to in order to voice your side of it without feeling argumentative.
And just to give a suggestion, what your third party should look like, your third party, we had a couple take us in. And when the couple took us in, and I would tell her, well, Tim and this, Tim that, and she would say, well, what could you have done? In every situation, there's something for somebody to learn in every situation. Your mentor person should always be helping you take a look back at yourself, you know, and giving you tools and positive messages to move forward.
But it's just that person there just to, so that you're not talking at each other, so that you can calm down and hear what each other is saying is important. So those are 5. Was that 5?
That was 5.
That was 5 lessons on how to effectively communicate during a disagreement. Again, go to IWillWillU.com, IWillWillU.com, and get a tips and tricks and different things to help you out with your marriage. Give us feedback. Let us know what you think of this post. All right, and let's do this. Tell a friend to come watch us and dialogue with us. If this can help somebody, make sure that you spread the word. All right, we'll see you at the next video.
Bye-bye.